Are you forgetting about this important design element? Watch this short video and decide if you're using this element of design effectively. This is a simple exercise that I'm going to use to illustrate the use of this design element. I've drawn the same little composition twice. Once on the top, once on the bottom. And I'm going to do a value study in each of these in the same manner. And then the one on the bottom, I'm going to add the design element that I've been talking about. So this is a very simple composition, and I'm just going to use some Payne's Gray with a flat brush here, a 1/2-inch flat brush, just to paint this as I would a value study. Here you can see my value study progressing. This is just a middle value wash that I'm putting down just to describe this little chalet sitting on the side of a hill with some trees behind it. Here I've moved on to the second drawing, and I'm putting down the same type of a wash. And here I'm going to complete the wash. So what I've done here is taken a middle value just to paint some large shapes and start to describe the form of this chalet. And there's not a lot of detail, it's just painted in and blocked in with some of the major shapes. So I've painted my two drawings in a like manner, and I'm left with two pretty similar value studies. Now I'm going to add the design element that I've been talking about to the bottom study. And can you guess what that element might be? It's a line. I've blocked in my values, but I really haven't used line to describe anything in the painting process. The only lines I have are the lines that remain from my original drawing, which I would erase in the painting process. To illustrate the impact line can have on your composition, I'm going to add line to the bottom study, and then we'll compare the one without the use of line and the one with. So I've got a quill brush loaded up, and it holds quite a bit of paint, but it gives a fine mark, so it's good for using it for line. And you can see now I'm just taking my brush, I'm adding some touches of line to this study here on the bottom. I'm describing some of the edges, and you can see that I'm breaking up the lines. Some of the lines are short, some are long, and they go in different directions. It can be as short as just almost a dot, but you can see where you place those, you start to describe the change in direction of planes or the edge of something. You can use it to contour a surface. And you can start to see the difference between what's happening in the bottom and what's happening on the top. And there's a complete absence of line in the top one. Often people will put in some line, but they don't think of it as a design element so much. They see something and they copy a line. But it's a good design tool. It can provide a lot of interest, and it's always like putting in line just enough to clue the viewer into what's going on, but I like to break it up so that they can finish it themselves. When they look at it, their eye will follow that line. So right here, I don't want to draw a solid line to indicate this snow, this edge of it, so I break it up, but the viewer's eye will complete that line. And here you can compare the two compositions, one with line and one without, and you can see that the one with line is much more interesting. It's not that I don't think people include line in their paintings, because they do, but I think more often than not there's a line there because it's something they think they see in their photograph and they're copying what they see in the reference photo rather than using it as a design tool. And to me there's a difference. There's a difference in using line because you think it's in your photo, and using line as a design element to direct the eye or move the eye around or through a composition or suggest certain things and bring focal points out. There's just a difference in how you use line, and I think more often than not, it ends up there because they see it in their reference rather than consciously using it as a design element. And something to think about when you're using line, just as with other design elements, is applying the principle of contrast. So with value, you have light and dark. With color, you have warm and cool. And there's several contrasts that you have when you're talking about using line. Let's take a look at a few of the contrasts. So with line, you can have a straight line. So we'll just make a mark here. So you have a straight line, and contrasting a straight line is a curved line. You can have a long line, or you can have a short line. You can have a continuous line, or you can have a broken line. These are all contrasts. Here you have a thin line and a thick line. Next, I'm going to make a light line and a dark line. Here you have a consistent line. Here you have a varied line, so the thickness is varying. These are just a few examples, but next time you're going to do a painting and you're planning your composition, think about how you might include line as a design element.